Welcome back to the sawmill. Let's unwrap this puppy and see what we got. I wish I could have gotten a little bit smaller tarp, but the smaller one would have been too small. So I gotta deal with what I got. Okay, we are working with a Wood-Mizer LT15 bandsaw mill. So let's make some sawdust. Okay, so we are going to be working with this dead tree. It needs to come down anyhow. Let's see what we can get out of it for sawmill boards or saw logs. Yep, that's dead one. Definitely dead. All the leaves are gone now. The fall's gone. They've all fallen off. The dead one has been dead for a while yet. And there you can see in the background the home site. Nope, we don't have walls yet. Or at least during this one we don't. So, gotta start up the chainsaw and clear out around the tree. Like all of my videos, this is not a how-to, but this is how I did it. Put in the notch. I didn't want to fall it down into the actual track or the, trail that we've had here, because we have some trees planted beside it that I don't want to crush. Small trees. Okay. Here she goes. Okay, not really, but she started. Okay, plan was to take a little bit more of that hinge out, see if she goes over, get the saw started, and oh, there she goes. Scared her. Him, her, whatever it is. Watch it go or not go. Gets hung up in those trees up there. And it looks like it stopped. Go take a look. And there you can see her moving. Oh! Bang. Alright, so start up the mule. We're going to drag out a log. We tried dragging out the whole tree. That did not work, so we just cut a 10-foot piece off. Drag that out. We'll go back and grab another piece. Bring the tractor over. Didn't want to drag it through all the rocks and everything, get it all dirty. So got the Grapple tractor. Try to get it on. Then realize there's a little tree behind it. The little green sprout back there. I did not want to drive that log into that little tree. So we're going to turn it around, or turn it the other way. try to pick her up. Come on, get a good grab. And... no. Try it again. Alright. Oop. There we go. Back of the grapple. Close it in. Got it. Now, to get out of here. It's easy to get a little tractor in and out, but when you're holding onto a 10-foot piece of wood, and the trail is not that wide, on the left side of your screen I got some little trees with some deer netting around them and like little teepees I'd like to keep, so I'm trying not to run into those. And then get through the trail and not run into trees and not run into my little trees over there zigzagging through. Get out to where it's more manageable. Get past that big tree back there. Okay. Now I'm kind of home free. Much easier to deal with. It widens out. And there's the home. Or should we say the concrete foundation. At this point in time, there is no walls. Yeah, we're going to do some SIP walls, structurally insulated panel walls on that. At the time that we're doing this, they're almost being ordered. So we're cutting flooring. Still cutting flooring. Alright, that dead tree gave me basically 3 saw logs about 10 feet long. See, one's on the mill, and then I got 2 there. Boom, 2. So there's 3. Alright. Got the overhead view on a time lapse. Those other 2 logs came from another dead tree. Just beyond there, across the driveway, there was another dead tree we took down. Did not get very good video of that, so it's not included anywhere. Alright. That's a flitch. That's a flitch. Turn her over. That's firewood. That's firewood. That might be a flitch. And then we turn on its side. Then make a flat spot. That looks like a good one. Turn it over on the other side. Make a flat spot. No, too much crud on it. Okay, now we start flooring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus those flitches we got out of that log. Okay, get the next log up there. Level it up. Try to get it level. Or should we say, getting the center centered on the sawmill. Alright. Firewood. Flitch. Actually, that wasn't a flitch, that was something else. There's a flitch. Flip it over. So those non-flitches we're going to be using for other things. There's not enough area that's good. That's firewood. That's something else. That's a flitch. So building blinds, using it for kind of a a wallboard maybe. They're just not good enough for flooring, or you can't get enough out of it for flooring. So that is all flooring there. Next log. Sometimes it just doesn't want to go up. That was a flitch. Flip it over, get the bark off. Firewood. Firewood. Okay. Here's some close-ups of actually cutting. As you can see, that white is basically rot, punky wood. Doesn't do good for flooring. We want that nice darker oak for the flooring. So we'll cut off all that stuff and get to the center piece for a flooring piece. That'll be a flitch. And I got a whole video on cutting flitches. This will be another flitch. Sometimes you get 2 pieces of flooring out of a flitch, depending on how wide it is there and how much straightness there is in the tree. If it's not very straight, you can't get much. Oh, and look at that sawdust just coming out of there. And the sawdust on the lens. Okay, let's roll this baby. That was a board to get it squared up. Put that flat side down. Oh, there we go. Make another flat side. Put the rollers down. Put it up next to the blocks. And tighten it down. Use the other one when it's available. It's actually on the log area. And we'll get this bark off of here. If it's loose bark, you can get it off. It doesn't dull the bandsaw blade as much, because the bark holds on to dirt and whatever. You get it off, then the bandsaw doesn't get as dull as quick. So this first cut is a slab because it's rounded on one side. And what we do with them, we put them off to the side and we'll cut them up later for firewood. Sort of like kindling, because it's only 1 inch thick or so. Some are a little bit thicker. And it leaves a flat spot. Man, I know that's 1 inch thick, but it doesn't look 1 inch, it looks thicker. If the top has a pretty good amount of oak on it, we'll put that aside for a flitch and cut it up and hopefully cut a 4 inch plus size board out of it for flooring. Alright, we're down to 4 inches on the side. And you can see that white. That does not bode well for flooring. Now this, in the center, looked pretty good. If there's not a lot of that white sapwood on it, we'll put it aside for flooring and use the other side for the flooring actual. If there's quite a bit of that sapwood rot, we will not put it aside. Because you don't want your floor rusting on that much rotten wood that's soft. Your floor will squeak. Alright, that looks like flooring material. Nice solid oak. And a lot of water going through that saw blade. Now the water helps lubricate that blade, go through the wood easier, and it cools the blade down so it doesn't get too hot. And there is a little bit of dawn in that 5 gallons of water that's sitting up there that's running through the water. And that helps it lubricate through that wood easier than having a dry blade. See, it just misses that hold down. And there we got flooring. And this means we have too much sawdust sitting here. We had to clean this up after this because it's hard for me to walk alongside. There's not a lot of room for me to walk with this much sawdust, and it's starting to almost jam up the chute. But this is the last inch down the board. When we do the other stuff, it's up higher. So that's the lowest setting we got. That's still a lot of sawdust. Okay, so we have the other log from another tree. I think that other shot was from the other tree too. Once in a while there's knots sticking out of the log and it stops the sawmill. So you gotta adjust that blade guide on the left hand side there. Oop, there we go. That's like one of them. Almost stopped it. Make it. I should have just moved it over. And we have holes. Holes are not always good in a piece of wood. In these trees, when you find holes, you usually find carpenter ants. Not a good thing. You saw that stack of wood. I did that one last inch on all that sawdust. That was an 8x8 stack. We got a good board on the top and the bottom. The rest of it was not very good because it was full of carpenter ants. And I didn't get any video of those tunnels and stuff. So we were trying to flip it over to cut it in half for the 4-inch boards and start moving them, and it's like, oh, ants. And there are little tunnels in all the boards. We still have it. We're putting possibly on the walls in the basement. Haven't decided that. Flipped her over, one more side to go before we get squared up. Now these slabs are basically firewood in my book. Alright, we did a bunch of flitches afterwards. Here's one of them. You cut it so we get a nice flat spot eventually. Not quite yet. And then you cut off 4 inches, or 4 1/4, 4 1/2 for floorboards. There's a lot of milling left to do after this for the floorboards. Thickness planing, cut them to exact width, because when they dry and they shrink a little bit. So you oversize cut them, let them dry, and then cut them to the exact width, and basically plane them down to exact thickness. Okay, so this is the pile we started with. This is from last time. You can see how much is there. Pause and count if you really want to. And then here is what we did this time. It is definitely up higher. So if you want to keep track of us, hit that subscribe button and it'll keep us in your feed. Hit the like button if you like it, and send us a comment if you want to know something or you just want to say good job. And we will catch you later, because this is the end of this video.